The sun burned hot over the endless sands of Vareth 9, a quiet planet forgotten by most of the galaxy. The wind howled across the dunes, carrying the smell of dust and rusted metal. Here in this sea of gold and silence, a young scavenger named Eli Ward searched for anything valuable left behind by time. Eli was thin, tanned, and always covered in dust. He wore cracked goggles and an old backpack filled with tools. His only companion was a small flying drone that buzzed softly beside him, scanning the ground for energy readings. Life on Vareth 9 was hard, but Eli had learned to survive. Every morning he went out into the desert, hoping that today might be different, that today he might find something big enough to change his life. For years, he had heard stories about the golden age of humans, when they ruled the stars with mighty fleets and brave explorers. But that was 500 years ago. Now humans were scattered and forgotten, living quietly in the corners of other alien empires. Vareth 9 was one of those corners. That day, a sandstorm was forming on the horizon. The wind picked up and the sky turned orange. Eli's drone suddenly beeped, flashing a red signal. He frowned and looked down at his wrist screen. The reading showed something strange. A strong power signal deep under the dunes. Not old junk, not alien tech, but something big. What's that? Eli muttered. The coordinates blinked 20 meters ahead. He grabbed his shovel and hurried toward the spot. The storm roared closer, but he didn't care. The signal was too strong to ignore. As the first drops of sand hit his face, he began to dig. The sand was heavy, hot, and coarse. His hands ached, but he kept digging, driven by curiosity and hope. Hours passed. The storm darkened the sky. Then his shovel struck something hard. Clang! The sound echoed beneath the storm. Eli brushed away the sand with his gloves, revealing smooth gray metal. It wasn't rock or rusted scrap. It was a hull, and it looked almost untouched by time. His heart raced. He pressed his hand against it. The surface was cool and perfectly flat, with lines of unknown patterns. He brushed more sand away until he saw it. An emblem, faint but still clear. 3 stars above a single circle, the symbol of the United Earth Fleet. Eli froze. He had seen this mark only in old history books. The Earth Fleet was said to have disappeared centuries ago after the Great Collapse. No one had ever found a working ship. Until now. He stared at the logo as the storm screamed around him. No way, he whispered. It can't be real. Using his drone's laser cutter, he sliced through the top hatch. A hiss escaped as air rushed out. The door opened with a deep metallic groan. Inside was dark and silent. Eli turned on his flashlight and crawled in. The interior was covered in dust, yet everything looked strangely clean. No corrosion, no collapse. Rows of panels lined the walls and a narrow corridor led deeper inside. He walked slowly, each step echoing in the empty ship. His light passed over broken chairs, cracked screens, and old nameplates written in ancient Terran language. As he reached what looked like the bridge, his drone's sensors picked up faint energy. A soft hum came from beneath the floor. Eli knelt and brushed off a control panel. The moment his fingers touched the surface, lights flickered around him. One by one, consoles came to life. The bridge glowed blue and white. Dust lifted from the air. Then a calm, clear female voice filled the room. "System reactivation in progress." Eli jumped back. The sound was warm but mechanical. The main screen blinked, showing an AI interface. Then the voice spoke again, clearer, confident, and oddly emotional. "Good to serve you again, Admiral. System reactivation complete." Eli's eyes widened. "Admiral?" "I'm not," he stammered. But the ship didn't answer his confusion. Panels lit up one by one, showing data feeds, maps, and power levels. The ship was enormous, buried halfway under the dunes. On the central console, a glowing nameplate appeared, ESS Resolute, flagship of Admiral Ethan Ward. Eli's heart pounded as he read the last 2 words, Ethan Ward, his family name. He stepped closer, his voice trembling. "Ward, that's my name too." The AI responded immediately as if it recognized him. Voice pattern match detected. Admiral Ethan Ward, commanding officer. "Welcome back, sir." Eli froze. His thoughts raced. Could it be possible that this ship had belonged to one of his ancestors? A hero from Earth's past? He took a deep breath and looked around the glowing bridge. Everything seemed alive again. Screens humming softly, lights running along the walls like veins. Yet the air felt lonely, filled with ghosts of the crew that once stood here. The AI spoke once more, her tone calm and loyal. "Admiral, we have been waiting for your return. Time since last command, 512 years, 7 months, and 4 days. Eli's mouth went dry. 500 years. The ship had waited, buried in the desert, for half a millennium. He whispered, How are you still working?" "All systems preserved under standby protocol," replied the AI. "Mission parameters. Protect humanity's legacy. Await further orders." Eli sank into one of the old command chairs. It felt heavy with history. He looked at the holographic map showing the galaxy, glowing dots where human colonies used to be. Most were gone. A few blinked faintly, marked as lost contact. He sat there quietly for a long time. The storm raged outside, but inside it was calm. The AI waited patiently like a soldier standing guard. Finally, Eli spoke. "My name is Eli Ward. I'm not the Admiral. I think I'm his descendant." There was a pause. Then the AI replied, softer now. "Genetic link detected. Ward lineage confirmed. You carry his blood. By Earth Fleet law, command authority transfers to you." Eli blinked. "Command authority?" "Yes, Admiral." He smiled nervously. "Guess I can't argue with that." The AI's lights pulsed almost like a heartbeat. "It is good to serve you again, Admiral Ward. Shall I begin system diagnostics?" Eli nodded slowly. "Do it." Outside, the wind howled louder, but the ship's engines hummed faintly, waking from a 5-century sleep. The sand began to shift around the buried hull, sliding away as the Resolute stretched like a giant waking from a dream. Eli stood at the main window and looked out. The desert was endless, the sky orange with stormlight. Yet for the first time in his life, he didn't feel small. He felt part of something old and powerful, a story that had waited for him all along. "Admiral," said the AI softly, "mission awaits your command." Eli stared at the stars barely visible beyond the storm and whispered, "Then let's bring humanity back to the light." The engines roared faintly again, echoing through the desert. And for the first time in 500 years, a human ship's heart began to beat once more. The next morning, the desert was silent again. The storm had passed, leaving the dunes smooth and golden. But beneath the sand, something had changed. The old ship, once buried and forgotten, was alive again. Its lights glowed softly under the early sun, like a sleeping giant opening its eyes after centuries of darkness. Eli Ward had not slept all night. He sat on the bridge of the ESS Resolute, surrounded by screens that hummed and blinked. The AI, Aura, spoke to him in her calm, gentle voice. She explained system after system, showing him things beyond his imagination. He had grown up among rusted machines and broken tools, but this ship was perfect. Its technology was older than anything known in the galaxy, yet more advanced than anything Eli had seen. "Primary power restored," Aura announced. "Defense matrix offline. Weapon systems in standby. Crew count 0. Eli looked around. "You mean everyone's gone?" "All life readings ceased during emergency landing. The crew evacuated or perished before I entered stasis mode. I remained operational to await further orders." Her voice was steady, but there was something almost sad in her tone. Eli stood and walked to the large window that looked over the desert. The sun shimmered across the endless sand. "You waited here all this time? 500 years?" "Yes, Admiral," Aura replied softly. "I followed your last command. Protect humanity's legacy." He turned. "My ancestor's last command." "You carry his DNA, his voice pattern, and his name," Aura said. "To me, that is enough." Eli smiled faintly. "Then let's finish what he started." He spent the next few days exploring every part of the ship. The Resolute was massive, kilometers long, with endless corridors, empty crew quarters, and wide hangars filled with dust. But the deeper he went, the more he saw how well the ship had survived. Its walls were clean, its engines untouched by rust. Aura guided him, turning on lights and opening doors as he walked. "This section was the training deck," she said. "Here, the Admiral used to address the crew before every mission." Eli stopped in the middle of the hall. He imagined hundreds of soldiers standing there listening to his ancestor's voice. He could almost hear it echoing through the silence. As he moved deeper into the ship, he found the memory core chamber, a circular room filled with floating data spheres. When he touched one, a hologram appeared, a young man in a dark uniform, eyes calm and strong, Admiral Ethan Ward. "This is the final battle log," Aura said softly. The hologram spoke, his voice firm. If anyone finds this message, know that we fought until the end. Humanity may fall today, but its courage will not. Protect what remains. Never let them erase us. Eli watched quietly. The image flickered, then faded into light. He stood there, feeling both proud and small. His ancestor wasn't just a man. He was a symbol of everything humans once were. Brave, clever, and unbroken. Aura, Eli said. Why did humanity fall? They were outnumbered, she answered. The Galactic Coalition united against Earth, afraid of human creativity and unpredictability. They feared what they could not control. The war lasted 20 years. In the end, the United Earth fleet scattered. Few ships escaped. You are standing on one of the last, Eli clenched his fists. They feared humans because we wouldn't obey them. Yes, Admiral, Aura said quietly. Humans did not bow. That was their strength, and in their curse, he nodded slowly. Then maybe it's time the galaxy remembers what we were. As he explored more, Aura guided him to the engine core, a chamber that pulsed with blue light. The energy coils glowed like a living heart. When Eli touched the control console, the hum grew louder. Engines online, Aura said proudly. Low power mode active. The deck vibrated under his feet. Dust fell from the ceiling as ancient systems came alive. Outside, sand began to slide away from the hull. The buried ship started to rise, just a little, like a creature stretching its limbs after too long a sleep. Eli smiled. She still works. The Resolute was built to last, Admiral. Designed by human hands, crafted for endurance. He laughed softly. That sounds like something my great-grandfather would have said. He did, Admiral. Would you like to hear his last personal log? Eli hesitated. Play it. The air shimmered and a small hologram appeared. Admiral Ethan Ward again, sitting on the same bridge 5 centuries ago. His face was tired but determined. If you're hearing this, you're my blood. You found the ship. That means humanity still has a chance. Remember this, when we are builders, not conquerors. But when the stars turn against us, we rise. Protect what we are. Never forget Earth. The message ended, leaving Eli silent. He stared at the hologram spot where the Admiral had been. Outside, the sun set. The sky turned red and the dunes glowed like gold. But then Aura's tone changed. Admiral, I detect movement in orbit. Eli turned quickly. Movement? Unknown vessels. 3 signatures. Energy type Drexian. They appear to be scanning the surface. Eli frowned. Drexians? They're scavengers, alien raiders. They hunt for old tech. They have detected our energy output, Aura warned. They are descending. Eli's stomach twisted. They'll come for the ship. Confirmed. Estimated arrival, 42 minutes. He paced across the bridge. We can't fight them, not yet. The weapons aren't even online. We can hide, Admiral. The ship's stealth systems may still function. Eli nodded quickly. Do it. The lights dimmed. The ship's hum softened to a whisper. From above, the Drexian dropships cut through the sky, their engines glowing red. Eli watched through the view window as they landed nearby, raising waves of sand. He could see their shadowy figures through the dust, tall, armored creatures with glowing helmets. They spread out, scanning the dunes, searching for the power source. Eli's heart pounded. Aura whispered, Remain calm. They cannot detect us yet. He crouched beside the console, breathing quietly. For a moment, the aliens passed close, their machines buzzing near the hull. One even tapped the metal with a scanner. Then, as quickly as they came, the Drexians turned back toward their ships. Scan complete, Aura reported. They are returning to orbit. Eli exhaled in relief. That was close. Yes, Admiral. But they will return. Drexians are persistent. Once they analyze the signal, they will know this is no ordinary wreck. Eli nodded grimly. Then we'll be ready next time. He stood up, his eyes full of determination. Aura, how long will it take to repair the main defenses? If we focus all available power, 72 hours. Do it, he said. We'll make this ship fly again. Understood, Admiral. As night fell over the desert, the Resolute's engines glowed faintly beneath the sand. Aura worked tirelessly, systems humming softly through the dark. Eli sat on the bridge, staring at the stars. Somewhere up there, the Drexians waited. But for the first time in centuries, humanity had a heartbeat again. And soon, it would roar. Eli whispered, They think humans are extinct. Let's prove them wrong. The AI's lights pulsed gently. It will be my honor, Admiral. And deep under the desert, the ancient warship prepared to awaken for war once more. The desert night was still. Only the faint blue glow of the Resolute's engines broke the darkness. Deep inside the ship, systems that had slept for centuries were finally awake again. Screens flashed, power lines hummed, and old reactors began to breathe life into metal veins. Eli Ward stood on the bridge, his hands resting on the control panel. He had spent 3 days repairing systems under Aura's guidance. He hadn't eaten much, barely slept, but he didn't feel tired. Every time he saw a system come back to life, he felt a fire inside him, like something ancient was calling him forward. Aura's calm voice filled the air. Admiral, primary weapons are now functional. Shield emitters at 60%. Engines at full readiness, Eli smiled faintly. You've done it, Aura. The Resolute can fly again. We have done it, Admiral, she replied softly. Together. He walked to the large observation window. The endless dunes stretched out below like a golden ocean under the twin moons. It's beautiful, he whispered. And soon we'll leave it behind. But his thoughts darkened as he remembered the Drexian ships that had scanned the planet days ago. Those aliens would be back. They always came back when they smelled power, especially old human technology. And this ship was the prize of all prizes. Aura, any sign of them? The AI paused for a second. Yes, Admiral. 3 ships in low orbit. They are charging their weapons. Eli took a deep breath. So they've found us. They are broadcasting a message, Aura said. Play it. A harsh alien voice echoed through the speakers. Unidentified vessel, this is the Drexian salvage fleet. Power down your systems and prepare for boarding. Any resistance will result in destruction. Eli clenched his fists. They think I'll just give up. Admiral, they outnumber us 3-1, Aura said. Tactical advice, retreat is possible. Eli shook his head. No, if we run now, they'll follow. And if they get this ship, they'll use it against anyone left who remembers humans. We fight. Aura hesitated for the first time. Then we fight, Admiral. The Drexian ships began descending through the atmosphere. Their engines lit the sky with red fire. The ground shook as they drew closer. The ancient warship waited quietly under the sand, like a predator ready to strike. Eli stood tall on the bridge. He felt nervous, but inside him there was a strange calm. Maybe it was courage. Maybe it was the echo of his ancestor. Power up the shields, he ordered. Blue light rippled over the hull. The sand lifted and scattered as hidden turrets rose from the ship's surface. Weapons ready, Aura confirmed. Then let's show them what a human warship can do. The first Drexian ship fired a plasma blast. The impact shook the dunes, throwing sand high into the air. But the Resolute's shields held firm, glowing bright against the night. Eli gripped the controls. Return fire. The ship's cannons roared, bright streams of energy cutting through the sky. One Drexian cruiser exploded instantly, lighting up the desert like sunrise. The others scattered in panic, but the Resolute was faster. Aura moved with precision, her calculations perfect. Target locked, she said. Fire again. The second Drexian ship tried to escape, but the shot hit its engine. The explosion painted the horizon red. The last enemy cruiser circled above, firing wildly. Admiral, they are transmitting distress signals, Aura reported. Let them. Let everyone hear this, Eli said firmly. Let the galaxy know humanity isn't gone. He pressed the comm button and spoke clearly into the mic. To anyone listening, this is the United Earth Fleet. Humanity still stands. Aura's voice joined his, broadcasting the message across nearby systems. For the first time in 5 centuries, the name Earth echoed through the stars again. The last Drexian ship tried to flee toward orbit. Eli narrowed his eyes. Aura, give me pursuit course. Course set, Admiral. The engines flared. The sandstorm that followed was enormous. Dunes collapsing, dust clouds spinning as the Resolute finally lifted free from the ground. For the first time in 500 years, the great human ship rose to the sky. Eli watched through the window as the planet grew smaller below. His hands trembled, but his heart felt steady. He wasn't just Eli Ward, a poor scavenger anymore. He was part of something much larger, the rebirth of his people. Admiral, Aura said gently, you are handling the ship like a true fleet officer. He smiled. Maybe it runs in the family. Above the clouds, the stars filled the black sky. The Drexian cruiser tried to outrun them, but the Resolute caught up easily. Aura fired one last blast, precise and silent. The alien ship shattered into glowing fragments that drifted away into the void. For a long moment, there was only quiet. The battlefield hung still among the stars. Eli exhaled slowly. "It's over. For now," Aura replied. "But others will come when they hear the signal." He nodded. "Let them come. Humanity's not afraid anymore." The AI's holographic figure appeared beside him, soft blue light forming the image of a woman with calm eyes. She looked at him with something almost like pride. "Admiral Ethan Ward would have been proud of you." Eli turned to her. "You waited 500 years for orders. You never gave up. You're part of this too, Aura." "Serving humanity was my purpose," she said. "Now it feels like hope." Eli smiled quietly. He looked out at the stars. "Plot a course. Destination, Admiral?" "Earth," he said simply. Aura paused. "Coordinates confirmed, but Admiral, Earth's last known signal ended centuries ago. It may be gone. Then we'll find out," Eli said. "If it's gone, we'll bring it back. If it's still there, we'll tell them they're not alone." The AI's light shimmered softly. Course plotted. Engaging warp drive. The stars stretched into white lines as the ship entered faster than light travel. The deck trembled beneath Eli's feet. The feeling was strange and thrilling. The rush of movement, the heartbeat of the engines, the song of humanity's strength returning to the stars. He sat back in the captain's chair, closing his eyes for a moment. The image of his ancestor, Admiral Ethan Ward, flashed in his mind, a calm, determined, unbroken. Eli whispered, "We're going home. Welcome back to the stars." "Admiral," Aura replied softly. Far away in the darkness of space, countless sensors picked up a strange signal, a human signature thought to be extinct. Across alien networks and stations, whispers began to spread. "A human warship? Impossible. They're supposed to be gone." But the message was real, echoing through every communication channel. "This is the United Earth Fleet. Humanity still stands." And somewhere, across the old star lanes, those words reached forgotten colonies, small human settlements that had lost hope long ago. They looked up at the sky with tears and wonder. Eli didn't know it yet, but that single message would change the galaxy. For 500 years, humanity had been a memory. Now it was a promise reborn. The ESS Resolute flew onward through the endless dark, carrying not just one man, but the heart of a species ready to rise again.